Welcome to my channel today. Today I would like to teach you guys about the controversies or the confusions around transaction details in fintech apps. In fintech apps, what are the variations? What are the things we can look at? How do we come up with a better UX? Something that at a glance you can understand what the transaction details or transaction history is all about. So I'm going to dive into it immediately. I know you guys are wondering, I already designed. Apologies, I just want to really make this video short. But in case you want me to start over this, I can, for the sake of people who just love to see me design. So I have this upper status bar already, just copy and paste that. You already know what that entails, your date, your and these signals. You can actually copy that from the community anywhere, and importantly, you get a version of this also. I'm not really I'm not really hard or rigid on what this top should look like. Some people have some rewards somewhere around there. You can just really explore. I'm trying to make this simple. This is not an actual product. This is just for the sake of this class. And so, what is important thing after you see the name of the owner of the account, the sense of personalizing the app. That is why this is very important. Hi, the name, the feeling that the owner of the product. It's your account, so you should see your name on it. So that's a very good one. So we should look into the most important thing, of course. When you have a fintech product, when you're designing for a fintech product, when you're designing an app, you know that the section of the important thing people want to see is their money. What is so you want to keep that simple. For this, I want to use a background that is not pure white. So I want to use where white is my foreground. You understand that? So I'm gonna use an F5 code here, so that you can see what I'm designing. Right now I'm using manual as my font. You can see that I'm using alright. I believe you know how I got this. If you have any question on the way, as per how did you get this, please just drop it in the comment section. I'm going to have to attend to that immediately. I get you. So we have this, just like I said. So I want to keep it as multiples of 8. So I'm expecting 24 here, and I'm expecting another 24 here. So I'm using a system mark, so I'm keeping 24 as my margin to the top. So this should be 392. Right, so it's simple. Then I want to use I know you guys are familiar with this you can. Right now this is looking like a DEX. Looking at this, you already know that this has DEX informations. What I mean by DEX is a decentralized exchange where you start to see some Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Radial, and all those things. That is, but let us break it so simple. Let's say you're working with a fintech company and you want to see recent transaction. What are the things that should be on your transaction? What are the things you need to put on your activity page? First of all, I like the fact that I break it down here as a filter, right? What are the important things that happen in the transaction? What are the offerings of the product? So in case the offerings of the product is limited to just deposit, withdraw, and trade, all you can have here can be that. But let's say, for example, you want to have crypto deposit, you want to have crypto swap, you want to have crypto receive, you have bill payment, you have those things. You might want to just list them up here as a way of featuring your transactions. Alright, so there are different ways to this, so I'm going to bring one of these out so you can see other ways we can do this. So right now I'm using this approach where the date is at the top. So today, yesterday, and then you can start seeing the dates at the top of each of the transactions you've made on a daily basis, meaning that runs on the 24 hours. But what if I want to put it inside? Meaning you can also have a design variation where this becomes the date. So for example, today is 7th of April. You can have 7th April 2025 and the time with a semicolon, and let's say 9 o'clock AM, for example. What's this? So I'm gonna put this as field. So you get that. So what happens on this side of things? Of course, the amount that is involved in the transaction is on the right side. But several things can go down here. Either you want to show the balance after you have sent this. Maybe your balance you're left with. Let's say you're left with 200 USDT. What is the other way we can represent this to make it easy? Or maybe this is now, maybe it's a deposit. And if it's a deposit, of course, this has to change to a single one. I want to keep this in the center, so it makes it look good. If we have descriptions here, so if you're working with a fintech, not completely crypto or hybrid, where you have a crypto and fiat service, maybe you want to keep this as a description. So description, if you have a description, you have a description as maybe school fees. But if you don't have a description, you can just bring this down here and have it as no description. If the user did not have a description to that, and if you want to keep this as fiat, you can have 5,000 or 50,000 naira. So what is the other thing we can do around this? Nobody's talking about status. So what if I understand that generically green represents successful and red represents the failed or declined. But in the case where you have deposit and withdraw, it's two different things. User can be confused. Is this a failed or this is a withdrawal, right? And so you might want to have successful, right? And if it is okay, this can be successful, this can fail. So in case you make that red, and then of course this can be the black. I think have to make your transaction history, like you need to make it really easy. So I'll rather do. So what's the best one I've thought about for the sake of this is you have to keep the status different from the action. So the action is a deposit and the status is successful. That is really clear. So what is the best way you're gonna have to do this? This is my best. This is my best one. I like the fact that you can see your balance. I like this. So let us see if we can combine the three together. I want to see no this is it. This is the action taken. This is the amount. Let's keep it as 50,000 naira, for example. I want to see the status which is successful. At the same time, I want to see my balance. So we start to think about that is tricky, right? Either the description or the success will have to go. So now that we have deposit as the action and this is showing green as the successful, maybe we can have this as the balance. But the question is, will the user find this easy to use? Will they not be confused? So there are sometimes clumsy design can cause confusion. So thinking about this, I think we should not really cluster this. Is it possible? Yes. But for the sake of this class, let's keep things really simple. If you want to check your balance, you go back home and then you see your balance. It's as simple as that. So why do you have to see it here? So I think that this would not be really necessary. Then we have to change this to, if you're using Naira here, this has to change to Naira symbol. Then let's leave that for the sake of this class. I believe that I've been able to highlight some important things to you about how to manage your transaction history. Profile, you have the date at the top. And someone might be asking all the time, so what happens to the time? What happens to the time of transaction? The question is, do users actually care about the time of transaction at a glance? I think the answer is no. If you want to know the time of your transaction, you click on the transaction to see the transaction details and you get to see the time of your transaction. So let us keep the transaction history as brief, as easy and simple as this is. And I believe this is the best user experience you can get. Signing out. In the next class, I think I'm going to show you guys. I've seen a lot of people making a mistake about their nav. Their nav is not well. There's a lot of things going on there. I think I'm going to make the next class talk about your nav bar. But right now, I'm signing out. It's your friend Optimus. See you another time.